A very good afternoon to you. This is TV Sapientia, transmitting on Star Times channel 260. Today is Wednesday, the 19th of February 2025. My name is Joe Igbo. In our news headlines this afternoon, the House of Representatives has mandated its Committee on Electoral Matters to summon the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), Professor Mahmood Yakubu, to explain the delay in conducting by-elections to fill vacant seats in both the national and state assemblies. The federal government has announced that unpaid salaries of workers in the 109 embassies abroad will be cleared as soon as possible. The Abia State government has warned producers of fake drugs and beverages to desist from such unwholesome acts that dent the image of the state. And the Anambra State Police Command has confirmed that two suspects detained in connection with the murder of Justice Azoka, the lawmaker representing Onitsha 1 constituency in the State House of Assembly, have escaped from custody. Now the details of the news. The House of Representatives has mandated its Committee on Electoral Matters to summon the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), Professor Mahmood Yakubu, to explain the delay in conducting by-elections to fill vacant seats in both the national and state assemblies. This decision was made during plenary following the adoption of a motion moved by Mr. Jafaru Leko, representing the Bogoro Das Tafawa Balewa Federal Constituency in Bauchi State. Leko, in his motion, noted that since the conclusion of the 2023 general elections and the subsequent swearing in of elected officials, there have been multiple instances of resignations, deaths, and appointments of former members to executive positions in both the national and state assemblies. Referencing Section 68 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, the lawmaker emphasized that such seats must be declared vacant. He further pointed out that Section 76, subsection 2, mandates that by-elections be held within 1 month of a vacancy occurring. The lawmaker expressed concern that the prolonged vacancies and failure to conduct timely by-elections disenfranchise citizens, violating the constitutional principle of adequate representation. In adopting the motion, the House directed its Committee on Electoral Matters to investigate the cause of the delay and invite INEC's leadership to provide a detailed explanation. The Benue State House of Assembly has recommended the immediate removal of the State Chief Judge, Maurice Ekpambese. The recommendation follows a letter from Governor Hyacinth Alia and was made during a plenary session presided over by the Speaker Hyacinth Dajo. In the correspondence, which was read by the Majority Leader of the House, Sa'ata Teesa, Alia raised 5 allegations against the Chief Judge. Among the allegations are abuse of office by issuing a directive to overturn the Benue State electoral law passed by the Benue State House of Assembly and assented to by the governor of the state, misappropriation and mismanagement of the budgetary allocation and finances of the Benue State judiciary, engagement with politicians and political office holders for favorable judicial outcomes, indirect participation and incitement of the industrial actions against the state executive, acts of bribery and corruption and undue favoritism and dire insistence on cronies holding unmerited positions. 23 members of the State House of Assembly out of the 31 members voted for the removal of the Chief Judge. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Bar Association (NBA) has condemned the resolution by the Benue State House of Assembly directing Governor Hyacinth Alia to remove Justice Maurice Ekpambese as the state chief judge. In a statement jointly signed by its president Afam Osigwe San and General Secretary Mobolaji Ojibara, the NBA described the resolution as inexcusable and a breach of the Constitution. The association emphasized that the House of Assembly or any of any state lacks the power to remove a chief judge without the involvement of the National Judicial Council. The NBA said the resolution is not only unjustifiable but violates the spirit and intent of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, adding that it is laughable for the House of Assembly of any state to purport to have the power to discuss, much less recommend, the removal of a chief judge without the involvement of the National Judicial Council. The Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU Kaduna State University KASU branch has commenced an indefinite strike over unresolved welfare concerns. This was captured in a statement issued by the chairman of the union, Peter Adamu, and Secretary Peter Waziri. According to the statement, the action followed the approval of the National Executive Council of ASU, stating that the strike was total, comprehensive, and indefinite. The statement added that the union rejected the promises from the Kaduna State government for lack of substance, specific details, and actionable timelines on the payment of the outstanding entitlements to members. The union pointed out that non-payment of all withheld salaries was part of the unresolved welfare issues it has been fighting for. It said other issues were non-payment of earned academic allowances from 2016 till date, payment of promotion arrears, and students' industrial work experience scheme supervision allowances. Also unresolved were group life assurance and other entitlements to deceased members, non-remittance of pension from 2009 to 2019, and implementation of 25% and 35% wage awards. Another grey area, according to the union, is the restoration of the university's autonomy. The federal government has announced that unpaid salaries of workers in its 109 embassies abroad will be cleared as soon as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed the 2025 Appropriation Act already passed by the National Assembly. The acting spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kimiebi Ebiemfa, disclosed this in his reaction to financial constraints suffered by Nigerian workers across embassies. This comes as a report indicated that officials under the Foreign Affairs Ministry are in financial distress and cannot pay rent and children's school fees or meet other family and social obligations. Reacting, Ebiemfa said the ministry is aware of the difficulties faced by the missions abroad and the leadership is working seriously to address the situation. Available data of the ministry's recurrent expenditures indicate that it spent 251.71 billion naira on salaries in 4 years. You are watching TV Sapienza on Star Times Channel 260. The news continues shortly after this time. Please don't go away. Welcome back to the rest of the Sapienza News Bulletin at 1 p.m. My name is Joe Igbo. The Abia State government has warned producers of fake drugs and beverages to desist from such unwholesome acts that dent the image of the state. The State Commissioner for Information, Prince Oke Kanu, gave the warning while briefing newsmen after the State Executive Council meeting presided over by Governor Alex Oti. He said that the state government was going to embark on serious enforcement with the security agencies to ensure that such acts were stopped forthwith. Kanu added that in a major move to make Umuahia the state capital a smart city, the state government had embarked on many urban renewal and beautification initiatives, including the relocation of illegal traders from Isi Gate to Okulaga Afara, Umuahia. He said the state government, that's the Abia State government, was on the verge of relocating the illegal Isigate market to Afara, and further noted that part of the initiatives include the construction of bus shelters within Umuahia, among others. The Federal Ministry of Education has commenced a nationwide monitoring and evaluation campaign aimed at eradicating miracle centers or schools that facilitate exam malpractice. During an on-the-spot assessment visit to Redeemer Tiep International School in Abuja, team lead Rukayat Ibrahim emphasized that the initiative seeks to ensure that schools adhere to ethical examination practices. Ibrahim, a deputy director at the Federal Education Quality Assurance Service, reiterated the ministry's determination to eliminate such unethical practices nationwide. Yinka Amodu, another official from the ministry, stressed the importance of consistent evaluation to keep schools accountable. He clarified that both private and public schools, including creches and early childhood education centers, are subject to scrutiny. Amodu said similar assessments in the past had exposed kangaroo schools that operated without registration, employed unqualified teachers, and lacked adequate infrastructure. He said regular evaluations ensure that such institutions are identified and necessary actions taken. The ministry's assessment criteria include skills development, conducive learning environment, adequate classroom space, well-equipped laboratories, ICT facilities, health clinics, and proper perimeter fencing, among others. The Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission (NEC) has said that electricity consumers will pay a fine of not less than 100,000 naira if they bypass their prepaid meters or engage in illegal connection. This is contained in an amended order on unauthorized access, meter tampering, and bypass released yesterday. The fines range between 100,000 naira and 300,000 naira depending on the category the customer belongs to. Maximum demand customers are to pay between 450 and 600% of their last recorded energy consumption if caught in the act of energy theft. According to the NEC, customers who bypass meters or gain unauthorized access must pay administrative charges, including meter replacement costs and reconnection. For non-maximum demand single-phase residential customers, the first offense attracts 100,000 naira and subsequent offense attracts 150,000 naira. Also, non-maximum demand three-phase will pay a fine of 200,000 naira for the first offense and 300,000 naira for subsequent ones. The Anambra State Police Command has confirmed that two suspects detained in connection with the murder of Justice Azuka, the lawmaker representing Onitsha 1 constituency in the State House of Assembly, have escaped from custody. Azuka, elected on the platform of the Labour Party LP, was kidnapped at Unabampa Road, inland town, Onitsha. His decomposing body was discovered on the Second Niger Bridge 40 days later. He was laid to rest over the weekend in Onitsha. Confirming the escape, the State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Tochukwu Ikenga, stated that efforts were underway to rearrest the fugitives. He also assured that officers responsible for the escape would face disciplinary action. To end the Sapientia news at 1 p.m., a recap of the major headlines. The House of Representatives has mandated its Committee on Electoral Matters to summon the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), Professor Mahmood Yakubu, to explain the delay in conducting by-elections to fill vacant seats in both the national and state assemblies. The federal government has announced that unpaid salaries of workers in its 109 embassies abroad will be cleared as soon as possible. The Abia State government has warned producers of fake drugs and beverages to desist from such unwholesome acts that dent the image of the state. And finally, the Anambra State Police Command has confirmed that two suspects detained in connection with the murder of Justice Azuka, the lawmaker representing Onitsha 1 constituency in the State House of Assembly, have escaped from custody. That was the Sapientia news at 1 p.m. On behalf of the editorial and technical crew, I am Joe Igbo. Good afternoon and thanks for choosing TV Sapientia.